Yo, keep it Sky here. Hey, and welcome to Project Alfa Romeo Part 1. Man, okay, look at this. This is all out the Lexus. If you haven't seen my previous video, I almost traded in my Lexus for this Alfa Romeo. Decided that I just love my car too much that I have to keep it. So I did, but the audio system can't stay in there. I have gutted this thing out, and I had a pretty extensive system. Zv6 in a custom box tuned to 25 hertz. Custom plate. This thing lights up too, you know. And I had it all hidden under here in the trunk. Of course, the sub was back here, but I had plexiglass down here. My amps, everything was in here. Fans in here, LED lights in here. My processor, I had to take the panel off because I was messing with it. But the processor was there. I had chandeliers. I had TVs. I had up front my bass knob. I had the clip indicator, I had the voltage meter, and then I had my head unit, which I'm leaving in here, and a full CT sound mezzo system, component system, all throughout the car. I was banging in here. This car right here, the Alfa Romeo, this thing right here does not have the upgraded Harman Kardon system, unfortunately, but it doesn't sound that bad. It sounds better than that factory system. So there's some room for improvement. I will be taking most of what's in that Lexus and putting it in here. I've already put the TVs back in the car, and I have to figure out what I'm gonna do with the system. So I have the panel off here because I believe this is the factory amplifier. And just like the Lexus, I tapped into it to send signal to the processor so that I could control the sound to the subs and the doors. I'm gonna try to do the same thing in here. Now, a little bit trickier in this panel goes right back there. Put it on the ground for a second. But underneath here, they keep the battery down here, not up front under the hood, which is a huge battery, but the spare tires here, the tire iron, the car jack, the air, the pump for this tire is back here. There's a lot going on. There's not as much space down here as before. However, I think if I take this wheel out, which I did in the Lexus, and take all this foam and everything, that I might get enough space to at least put a couple batteries in here. I had 4 batteries in this car. I had, of course, the one under the hood, and then I had 3 under here, the trunk. So all of my stuff was hidden, and then I could just take, this is why this is split. I cut this in half so that I could raise this up, and you could see under plexiglass, which is right there, I had plexiglass to kind of display my amplifiers and everything underneath some LED lights when I went to car shows or did demos or just videos or whatever for companies. It was pretty cool. So my girlfriend is now driving my car, and she wants audio in here. She's not a crazy nut when it comes to audio, but she does care since she's been with me for a while. So right now I'm leaving the highs and mids in the car, so I got to leave the processor until I figure out what I'm going to do. So I don't know. I need to look it up on the Alfa Romeo amplifier and see which one of these wires goes to what doors, or I'm just going to tap into each speaker from each door. So it's easier and quicker if I tap into the amplifier from here. I just splice into it and then run my power right to my amplifier, which theoretically hopefully would be under here, if not maybe in that pocket. And if that doesn't work, then I have to splice it from the speaker itself, except the tweeter and mid-range are up there. I have to splice it from here, then run it all the way back to the processor, which isn't going to be fun, and then run another cable back up to the door for actual power. So I got a lot of work, but I think the best thing to do is to find out what speaker, this loud truck, one second. I need to find out what speaker goes to what wire here and then splice it back here, because it's simpler, it's a smaller run. If that's the amplifier, I think it's back here somewhere. If that's not, it should be. So we'll have to check that out. But I want to try to put all my stuff back under here again and then put the sub over top of it so it's kind of hidden. I did have about 4 or 5 fans underneath there too. I'm going to definitely need it with this. So I have a huge project on my hands. I want a clean setup just like I did before. It is cool that the battery's back here already, so that's a short run of 0 gauge. I was running it all the way from front to back in that car. So I have a huge project on my hand. I think step 1, however, I do love the sound of the CT mezzos, the 6.5 component setup that's in here. I love them. They sound so good. They play loud and they give you a good bit of bass. This car is heavily treated with sound deadening all through the trunk lid, all in the trunk. sides in the roof, I took the liner off, put it in the roof. All doors are heavily matted. So this had a lot of dyno mat in there. So it sounded really good because of that. I think that from factory, this one sounds pretty dead inside, which is good. So I want to take the CT mezzos out of this car and put it into this. I think they're the same size as long as you use spacers. And then I'm going to try to put those speakers in this car. We'll see. I'm going to try one door and see if it works. But that's going to be the first project, is to see what can carry over from this car to that car. I'm going to get that tire out of there, see how much space is. And I'll show you that in this video real quick. I'm going to get that tire out and kind of get everything else out of the trunk and see exactly how much space we have. And I'll know if I can do this or we're going to have to be creative. So let me do that real quick. So I have everything out. Wasn't but a few bolts and a couple clips, and this is what you're left with, which is maybe manageable. I think putting batteries in here may be a tall task, but let's put an amplifier in here. Where's my tar amps? I'll put my tar amps amplifier in here and show you that that will fit for sure. Yeah, check that out. It fits perfectly. There's, I mean, tons of height left. And I'm just routing wires straight to here. I'm just gonna have to hook up to this battery. There's no way that I can take this battery out, because you guys can see of how much it actually does for the car. I mean, it's fused and everything. So this is not a car that you're just gonna take a battery out of. I can maybe attach to it, but I don't really have space. I was looking back here behind the seat, and maybe there's a world where we can put a battery or something back there, but I don't know. It might not be safe. I'm not sure. I don't think that it'll work that way. So I was running a high output alternator on my Lexus. I was doing 240 alt, and that thing broke within a year. So I went back to my stock 150. This one is 180 stock. So a little bit more power out of it. Of course, there's maybe a little bit more electrical going on in this car, but it's 180 alternator stock. But I had 3 or 4 batteries. I don't know what I'll do. I don't really crank my system up. I don't really go to shows or anything anymore. So obviously I don't want to run 5,000 watts on a stock alternator. So I'll probably at least get an alternator put in this thing. It's really easy to access from under the hood and help this battery stay alive, because I'm sure replacing this ain't any fun. But maybe it's easy. I don't know. I'll have to do some more research. This is my first Alfa Romeo. I don't know a whole lot about what they are all about, but I think putting the amps down here will be perfect. My DS18 is super tiny, so I can put it right here too. And again, just feed power right here directly to the battery. Put a couple fuses in here, make sure we aren't a fire hazard or shorting anything out. And then hopefully that's my amplifier there, because I can just tie it into here, tuck it under there, just feed my wire right through there. And it's a clean setup. Put some fans in here. I have some USBs here that I can use to put my fans in, route that through as well. It'd be the cleanest Alfa Romeo setup in the loudest one, and you wouldn't even see any of it. And that's kind of my goal, is kind of be discreet when it comes to the setup, but I want to be loud when I want to be loud. So I think this might work out. I'm going to figure out how to attach this. This is metal underneath, so I'll have to figure out a way to secure this. It won't really slide top to bottom, but it will left to right. So maybe some really good Velcro straps would attach it to this this fabric here. Is really like, I don't know. We'll have to see. There's metal underneath it, so I'll have to secure the amp somehow, but I'm pretty sure these are going to go underneath here. So project 1 is just to kind of get the plan, the blueprint going, and then get the door speakers in. I'll do that off camera, and we'll talk about that in part 2. So thanks so much for watching. I will be creating a playlist called Project Alfa Romeo. If you are interested how the Lexus build went 4 years ago, I do have a Lexus video called Project Lexus. So check that out so you can see what I did before, so you guys kind of have an idea of what I'm going to do now. Thank you so much for watching. Hit that like button, subscribe if you're not already, and we will see you in the next video. Keep it, guy out. Peace.